episode 13 of Busted Junk Studio. Part 5 of the cardboard teleprompter. I've entitled Raspberry iPad. Last time we did a little figuring and got up to assembling. Now that the glue is dry, let's take a look at it. So we got, that's about the way it sits in operation. Like we saw, it's got a hinge. It's got a hinge back here. We got to make some hinges. So before we get to that, we can take a look here. And we can see that I've moved that hole down a ½ an inch like we talked about in the last video. Okay, so we're kind of done with this for the moment. Let's set this aside. And here's our bottom. It's not 150 thick, it's 300 thick because there's a shelf and the outer edge. There's a top that's supposed to sit in here that's going to be as thick as this shim that I made. This is 3 thicknesses, 150 in thickness, 50, 50, and 50. And that would fit right in that shelf like that. You know, let's see, we come down here and we fit her in the corner, and I don't think it should really fit like that. Okay, that's the way that should fit, but it doesn't. It fits down like that. This shelf in here appears to be, stick our 1 thickness under it. 1 thickness. So, I'm going to have to cut a strip 1 thickness thick and glue it on top here, and we should have this fit just right. You know, it came out pretty sturdy. But if I get that spacer in down here, down at the bottom, I think we'll be just fine, and then I'll be able to seal up all these edges. Sealing is important because this is cardboard, and it will swell up and warp with changes in humidity. Yeah, it's not entirely stable, you know, but it's something we can deal with. When it's finished, all the surfaces will have sealer, primer, and a finish coat on them. Color yet to be determined. You can have it any color you want as long as it's black. Black. You know, there's still several parts left to make. But the majority of the mechanical assembly is finished. Let's switch gears and take a look at some of the electronics now. So if we're talking electronics, you could take an iPad and throw it in here. Like that. That would really do the job. Let me show you something. You can go here to the internet and you can go to a place called Imaginary Sense. Let's see, can you read that? Imaginary Sense at GitHub. And they got online teleprompter software. This is it running. Let me do a setup here. This be kind of neat. You take a camera. We'll have to get this set up. And let's see. I want to do that. And we need some spacers. And we need some more spacers. Yeah, there. And we can set this camera up kind of like this so that you should be able to see the footage of this now. We can frame this in, see the MacBook, or the iPad MacBook. And then we can take that piece of glass from the frame and we can set it in right here, kind of angle it right about the angle we got, and we can kind of see the teleprompter working. Let's make this teleprompter work. So prompt it. There we go. Teleprompter's going to work now. And we got a little light glare up top here, so let's get rid of that. There. Now we can see the teleprompter rolling. Yeah. That's how it works. Now, I don't know if you can see it. Let me see if I can move this whole camera thing up a little. Let's get a little closer on this. There. And I don't know if you can see it, but the lettering looks a little blurry. If we take this mirror and move it around, it's not a mirror, it's a piece of glass, but it's a special piece of glass. Now, when we put this in here, you can see that it's much more clear. Very easy to read and clear, because there's a special coating on this glass. And you got to put it in just the right way. You flip it around the other way here again, and you can still read it, but it's blurry. And this way should be much clearer. Of course, we got glare in the background and stuff. We're just playing around here. There we go. Our light's back on. Okay. So yeah. So you have the iPad solution, but I got wooden fingers. But this isn't my iPad. I don't own an iPad. So what we're going to do, we're going to make our own iPad using one of these. See? A Raspberry Pi. You may have heard of these things. A little computer. We're going to do that, and we're going to need a screen. So we're going to use this. Going to use one of these. This is a 7-inch HDMI LCD touch screen. You can even do finger stuff with that. And to round out the complement, we're going to need a little power dongle. And we're going to need some USB cable. We'll get to that. Let's see how this goes, though. Well, my plan of attack is to put the Raspberry Pi in this location and in this orientation. I want to remove this connector and mount it on its own board here, where you can access it from outside the case. Then, put the power supply back in this corner like this. I have a crazy idea on how I can rig this up without having to go and buy anything. It's probably a crazy idea, but we'll see. Finally, the HDMI display gets mounted to the display mounting panel. Internal cabling will be another problem to overcome because there's not a lot of room in there. Some unorthodox thinking and hacking will have to be applied. But for now, it will be good just to lock down the final location for these electronic gizmos. So, let's make these 7.1 thick mounting bosses and get all the mounting holes drilled. Oh yeah, and get the HDMI display mounting panel fabricated, which will be kind of tricky. And, oh yeah, and get that shim strip installed that we talked about a few minutes ago. So here we go. Am I doing this? Am I doing this right? Everything's doing... Yeah, we're doing it right. I want to take this, and I want to... Up like that, though. Let's see, we got something here. Take it apart. Yeah, we lost the camera here. What's going on? Jesus. Now we got a camera. Now we're rolling. That's our guy. Yeah? Garbage out of the way. Now for this. So here we go. There we go. Oh yeah. I need this script.